pretty much.
So I'm going to ask Frank. Frank's our resident recovering politician here, as he spent time as the treasurer for the state of Rhode Island. So Frank, why don't you go ahead with your comments.
Thanks, and thanks for the invitation to appear here. I'm actually joined by the two founders of Chatham Capital who are here with me today, Brian Reynolds and Nick Anacreonti. Brian has the very low-key blue suit on in the back there. So, and he has a personality to match it. We're a great team. As Ken just said, I come out of the public sector, 20 years of public service. I was a state legislator, then state treasurer. Some of you may have read my name in the paper somewhere along the way. I was running for governor in 2010, and I was the only Democrat in the country that Barack Obama decided he'd stay neutral on the race. I was a little too business and anti-union and stuff like that, but he stayed neutral, and I said to him, he could take his endorsement and shove it. You remember that? So, and actually, one of the reporters here picked up that I was speaking, so there was about 10 pages of Google hits of articles saying that I was speaking here today. So I'm glad to be back, and thank you all for coming. As Ken mentions, the small business, middle market business really has seen such a dry up of capital from the old way of getting capital from the commercial banks. And now you have very flexible and nimble and sophisticated firms like Chatham who can deploy amounts of capital that really work for small businesses, medium-sized businesses, checks between $2 million to up to $40 million. But it's really that sweet spot of $2, $5, $6, $8 million that it's those businesses that are going to create the jobs to turn this economy around. We have 66% of the jobs in this country are created and maintained by small businesses. So if every small business in this country just added one job, we'd cut the unemployment rate more in half. We'd go from 9% to 4.5%. That'd be a pretty good thing. But the companies need the capital to grow, and it's firms like Chatham that can provide the capital. But let me tell you another way that Chatham and maybe your organization could work together. When I was a state treasurer, Rhode Island was a pension fund, about $8 billion, and every local entity that was growing, whether it was a small business or a housing corporation, inner city business incubator, they would come in and ask to see how can the pension fund invest in their work. And the missing component there is because most institutional funds aren't going to do one-off investments with especially a local entity because of the headline risk and because it's not of institutional quality. So you need to put an entity in the middle of that transaction that has a proven track record of taking institutional money and deploying it properly. Chatham has a 10-year track record of 17% year-on-year returns to the investors. And then also a group that can look at the businesses and make very in-depth reviews of the business and then mentor that business as it continues to grow. And that's what Chatham does with a deep bench of people that have histories with companies like GE Credit and KPMG and entities like that. So you take your entity, introduce an entity like Chatham to the mix, go to the local institution that has the deep pockets, and you can usually find a way to strike a deal at that point. So I'd like to learn more from the other panelists up here, but again, it's an honor to be here, and I look forward to the discussion.